Yeah, so it's awesome to have you on the show. It's really cool. We're gonna get into a lot of stuff. Uh, I'd love to have you on our regular rotation. A lot of the time it's Kendall and I. Sometimes it's my buddy Murph and I, and we'd love to get you in the regular mix because, like you mentioned, you and I have been messaging each other a lot recently about sports card investments, and you know your stuff, and you're learning your stuff, and I think myself and the audience we're all in the same boat. So I love to dig in and research. And in today's show, I want to talk about specifically a soccer question that you had in our Facebook group, because I did a little bit of research on that. So I'll jump into that, and I'd love it if we do have time to talk hockey. I'd love to get your thoughts on maybe some of the guys that you think are the best hockey investments, because we haven't had a chance to talk about that on the show really at all. But I know you're into soccer, F1, hockey. I know, like, you and I talk basketball a lot. You and I, it just feels like we definitely talked NFL. So
Yeah.
so we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. And the first segment that I have started to enjoy doing the show with Kendall is just talk about your recent purchases, and walk us through the thought process of your recent purchases, because I think this is phenomenal content for the audience. It's transparent when people like you and I can get on and say, look, I wanted to buy this card, or I was thinking about investing in this player. This is what I had the opportunity to do. This is what I ended up doing. And here's my plan for these cards. So is there any particular card or cards recently that you've pulled trigger on that you're excited about, that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I did. And three cards that I purchased recently are all soccer cards, actually. The first one is a Alphonso Davies rated rookie press proof red that I pulled the trigger on. I mean, I'm Canadian, and Canada is currently making a great run for the World Cup. They're leading, actually, the I don't know how you call it, the America group or whatever for
Uh-huh.
qualifying. I don't know how you say it in English, but they beat the U.S. men's national team a couple of weeks back, which caused a lot of emotions, I think, in the U.S. And without Alphonso Davies, and I don't know if you went on Twitch or YouTube and saw the reaction. A lot of people were watching Alphonso Davies, actually watching the Canadian men's national team beating the U.S. I think there was like 20,000 people watching him live, watching the game. So I haven't invested so far in Alphonso Davies. His prices were pretty high. I jumped on the train a little late. But lately, I mean, he's been out for medical condition, out of his club. That's Bayern Munich, and the Canadian men's national team as well. So I got a good deal on a card, pulled the trigger on it. Looking forward to see the Canada run, um, for the World Cup, and as well as him coming back to Bayern Munich, as well as, I mean, if you want to take your eyes on the Canadian men's national team, just keep your eyes on Jonathan David. The guy's a super young
Okay.
player. I don't know, Paul, if you know this guy, but Jonathan David, super young player. He plays for Lille right now in France. He's in the Champions League as well. But there are a lot of rumors for him to move at the end of the season, so in the transfer window, to a Premier League club. So having this young Canadian national player, men's team member, sorry, playing there would be a great investment. So I pulled the trigger on a couple of his base rookie cards, and also his rookie sticker. The other purchase I made this weekend is Mason Mount. I know I asked you the question.
Okay.
I can't wait for you to see the data you come with. But Mason Mount, his green rookie card, his green refractor numbered out of 99. So I got a good deal on it. And I also pulled the trigger. Mason Mount was, I think he got injured. His value dipped a little bit in the beginning of 2022. So I think it was a good time to purchase. England's going to make an amazing run also in the World Cup, so I can't wait for those to see. And also another Pedri card. I know he's on the sports card investment report. So Pedri is also my last investment of the weekend.
That's amazing. Yeah, Pedri is right now
Number 45.
number 45. That's right, number 45. See, Greg's a member, so he knows what's up. Yeah, Pedri's number 45. He's been playing well. And this is what I love about soccer card investing, because you just rattled off Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, two young stud Canadian national team members. Davies is 21 years old and David is 22 years old. And they both play, like you mentioned, in the Champions League. And while they're a little bit, I mean, I would call them under the radar, they do have cards. Did you say you got the Davies Press Proof Red, Don Russ rated rookie Press Proof Red, 2018?
Absolutely. Yep.
And is that raw or graded?
PSA 10.
PSA 10, nice. Okay. Yeah, so the PSA 10 has been going for right around $300, some, US dollars. The last few sales, $350, $315. There was a sale on the 21st for $202.50, which seems super low, but that seems to be the outlier. It seems to be a card that is worth closer to $300 overall. But those are the thing. What I started to say is, I think it's fascinating. The world of soccer cards is so robust, and almost like the sport itself, it really has a lot to do with where you're from, who your favorite players are, not only what they're doing in the pro leagues, but also their World Cup team has a lot to do with it. And so my overall take on what you're doing, and really what I had to say about Mason Mount is, being that he does play for England, that's a top 5 favorite overall in the World Cup, and that he's like a midfielder / striker. I guess he's probably like more of an aggressive goal scoring midfielder. And he's super young too. His card prices have dipped, so I see him as a pretty nice buy low candidate. The fact that he plays for Chelsea also doesn't hurt. So he's going to have a lot of opportunity even beyond the World Cup to be, in the big stage. So I think that those purchases are super interesting. Soccer seems to be, I want to say, more preference-based than other sports, but it's warranted, because if you look at the data behind the sales of the cards for any of these athletes, the market is there for them. So I think that, to me, there's kind of like two potential plays, like how Kendall has kind of broken down baseball in previous episodes of the show. He kind of says like baseball is broken down into like two investor categories. One investor that's like the one that knows and only does baseball is really into Bowman, and they're really prospecting and thinking that they're good at picking the next guy who's going to become the next Wander Franco, or even Tatis, Acuna, Vlad, Soto, etc. Like, they're the guys that are only into baseball. And then they're the guys that are collecting all these other sports and investing in all these other sports, but they also buy baseball. And I feel like soccer can be similar, where you've got guys that are truly digging into the market in the men's national teams and the market in the transfer market, or the top pro league market. And then you've got the guys that are kind of dabbling in soccer and only doing the US men's national team, or only doing Spain, or only doing Canada, only doing particular leagues. so it's fascinating to me that like I might have Pedri in my top 50, but to be quite honest, like um, there's a lot of names that are out there that aren't in the top 100 that that you've even named in the Facebook group and on today's show that you could make an argument for because they
Yeah.
could be the next guy that could take off and have a big moment on the world stage, whether it be the World Cup or whether it be another tournament, and see their card prices rise. So I guess that's my long-winded way of saying like the soccer market seems to be very, very healthy. A lot of money is being spent there, but I think that it seems to be warranted, and those seem to be more like the Bowman baseball insider investments out of you than the more mainstream plays. So one follow up question for you on your purchases, like what made you go the route of David Mount versus like Mbappe or maybe some of the more well known guys? What as you're allocating your money, what's your thought process behind going with some of these guys that could kind of catch fire that are lesser known? Are you going to hold them
I'm
long term, or what are you thinking?
The plan is always to hold them long term, but also I think the plan is also to be able to flip it if there's anything and move on to, for me, buying like
Sports Card Strategy Show, Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com. Special guest co-host Greg Lanctot. We're going to definitely have him on again, like he said, next month. Brought to you by marketmoversapp.com by Sports Card Investor. We really want you to go there and use the promo code NOOFFSEASON, all lowercase, to save 20%. And of course, Greg and I want you to check out the Sports Card Investment Report at nooffseason.com and join the Facebook group with us. So to find the Facebook group, easiest thing to do is just go to sportscardstrategy.com and you'll see the link right there to join the Facebook group. We'll let you in, and you'll hear from Greg and I in the Facebook group. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great day. All right, man. Great work. That was fun. That was awesome.
Thanks, Paul. It was a blast.